You're irritated, overstimulated, and everybody's getting on your damn nerves. If you can relate to that so far, then this episode is specifically for you. Because sometimes the issue isn't what's going on in the room, it's how you chose to show up in that room emotionally. So today we're going to talk about something that we don't talk about enough, your heart posture. So go ahead and get comfortable because we're about to get into it. What's up, ladies, and welcome back to another episode of Her Clarity Space. I'm your girl, Jess, and if you are new here, welcome. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a coach. I'm not a therapist. I'm just your girl that's here to facilitate a safe space for women to come in, get comfortable, slow down, get honest, and understand themselves just a little bit better. So if that sounds like the space for you, go ahead and take a moment and hit the subscribe button now. So today I have some exciting news for you. We are going to be kicking off a new series, the Before You Become series. Before you become the new person that you're aspiring to be, before you become the new person that you've been praying to be, before you become whoever it is that you want to be, whatever woman that is that you envision yourself to be, there are steps that we have to take. There are things that we have to sort through, and there are things that we have to be honest about before we can actually become the woman that we want to be. So today I want to talk about something that really doesn't get discussed enough, and that is our heart posture as women, because there is a lot of things that we deal with. And I know we discuss a lot, being a girl, supporting women supporting women, sisterhood and friendship, how important it is. But I think a lot of times reality gets brushed over, because the truth is a lot of us are bitter about things. A lot of us are envious. A lot of us have jealousy, even within our own friend groups. And I'm not saying that it's cool. I'm not saying that it's something that should be normalized, but I am saying that it is something that should be talked about, because I want to tell you a little secret. There are a lot of you out here that have people that are very, very close to you, women that are very, very close to you, and they may love you dearly, but they envy you. They're jealous of you. And they don't know how to tell you. They feel bad for even feeling that way. They don't know what's going on, what has triggered it. But we are all women. We're all women, and we all want love. We all want success. We all want healthy family. And sometimes it's just the small things. It's the small things that we look at another person and we see how happy they are, and we feel like maybe they got things easier than we did. And sometimes you just think to yourself, why me? And it doesn't always mean that you're not happy for that other person. But I do believe that we need to give each other space to actually sort through those emotions, because we cannot just let them fester, because that is when they turn into other things. That is when you have single white female on your hands. And we don't want that, because we're so ashamed and we don't understand why we're feeling these things. It's like, you're my friend, you're my sister, you're my cousin, you're whatever you are to me. I shouldn't be feeling these things. But the truth is, these are very much human feelings, and they are very normal. And I think we just need to be able to give each other space to be honest. And this is a space of no judgment. If you have ever felt yourself being jealous of someone you cared about, feeling envious of someone you cared about, I just want you to take this moment, and I want you to drop a brown heart down in the comments, just to show that you're here with me, you understand, and you can relate. And this is, once again, no space for judgment, because we've all been in spaces that we find ourselves being uncomfortable in. We don't quite understand why we are there. And I just want us to be more accepting of ourselves first. because it's easier for us to point out, oh, she's envious of me, she's jealous, she's mad that I have X, Y, and Z. But are you able to notice those things within yourself? Are you able to see when you are starting to shift from being that supportive friend to being that jealous friend? Are you catching yourself being upset because you and your friend were single for like 5 years together? You were going on trips. You did all the fun things around the town. You tried all the new dinner spots together. And now all of a sudden she's in a relationship and she's experiencing things with her new man. And now she's going on the trips with him because this relationship is very new, is very fresh. And while you're so happy that she has a newfound love, you may also find yourself being jealous that now she's spending more time with him. She doesn't have time for you as much because she's now pouring more energy into this new relationship. And it's not that she doesn't love you. It's not that she doesn't care about you anymore, but she does have to give that attention to someone else now. And now you're feeling left out, and it's like, what do you do? And don't let it be a situation to where maybe you don't really care for the guy. And while we're on this, I do want to point something out. I saw a post recently where it was a girl, she made a post about her ex-friend and how she's like, oh, my ex-friend, she stopped being friends with me over a man. I was telling her that, she deserved more. He wasn't buying her expensive gifts or taking her on trips or something like that. And she's like, I just felt like she deserved more. And I tried to express that to her. And basically the girl stopped being friends with her. So fast forward, the friend comments and she responds, and she's like, I didn't want all that. She had more of an issue about it than I did. Which brings me to my next point. Like, sometimes women, you know, before we even start getting defensive and saying, no, that's not me. Sometimes we dress our jealousy up as concern. Sometimes we dress our jealousy up as concern. You're worried that he's not giving enough. You're worried that he's not showing up enough. But I think we have to respect the fact that our friends don't necessarily want the same things that we want. And I think that as long as your friend isn't experiencing any kind of abuse, as long as you don't see her feeling the need to neglect herself just to keep the relationship afloat, I don't see any reason for you to interject. If for some reason she's accepting things that you feel to be subpar, then that's just something that you should notate for your relationship, for your future relationship. Although I know that when we're single, we make plans and we talk about all the things that we'll do when we get in relationships, but we all know that things change. You get in relationships and it's easy to say what you will do the next time, but you get into a relationship and maybe he is an amazing guy. Maybe he's finally that guy that's able to understand your friend. Maybe he's finally that guy where your friend feels comfortable bearing her heart to and telling him all the things that she's been so ashamed to tell someone else. Maybe he's that guy that really does have a plan for himself and it aligns with her plans that she has for herself. So maybe it's not always something that you can instantly see. And another thing, it's not for you to see. It's for her to see it. It's only for you to respect it. We have to stop trying to run our friends' lives. And once again, you're trying to run your friend's life because you feel left out. Because I guarantee you, if the man was buying expensive gifts, was taking her on nice trips, it would have been something else. Because if you're really worried about your friend, if your friend isn't complaining, if your friend isn't having any issues, then you shouldn't have any issues either. If she's happy with what's going on, then you should be happy too. And I wanted to bring this up because this also shows This shows up in other situations when your heart is positioned in a negative way. It shows up when you enter into rooms. It shows up when you go into new spaces. People can feel your energy. Have you ever walked into a room and somebody's just like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And it's written all over your face. You probably just finished having an argument with your boyfriend, or maybe something just happened with your kids. Anything could be going on. You just found out you had car troubles. Whatever. People can feel your energy. And that's all a part of your heart posture. When you go into certain spaces, your heart posture affects other people in the room. And you don't even realize it because you're so caught up in whatever it is that you have going on, which I completely understand because life is tough. And we do go through things that we don't necessarily want to share with other people. But I just want you to be aware that when you walk into spaces with certain energy, it's contagious and people can sense it. And you don't want it to rub off on certain people. I can tell you, I remember being in a relationship and I was really, really bad with communicating my feelings. So I would hold things in and I would just hold them in until everything just boiled over. And I would come into rooms and whoever I was with at the time would ask me, "Are you okay? Is something wrong with you?" You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden I explode. And it's because my heart posture was just not in a good space. I was already holding on to negative energy. So it didn't even take anything to really trigger me. It was already boiling up. So when your heart posture is not in a good space, it doesn't take much for a negative thing to start happening. It doesn't take much because you're already in that space. You already have that energy on you and in you, and it's going to come out of you one way or another, whether it's going to be verbally, whether it's going to be in your body language, whether it's going to be in your eye contact, whatever it is, people can sense it. And it affects other people. So you really, really have to be aware of that, especially when it comes to people who you care about. We have to take accountability for our emotions. Not that you shouldn't have emotions, but we have to be aware of the space that we're in because once again, our emotions can affect other people. So we've talked about jealousy and envy, and I want to touch quickly on bitterness. Because bitterness usually comes out when you have those unmet expectations. It's the things that just don't turn out the way you hope that they would. And instead of you dealing with them, you just keep on pushing them to the side. And the one thing about bitterness can fuel envy. Bitterness can fuel jealousy. That is why it's so important for us to stay on top of these things and knowing where we're at, because sometimes you can be bitter about your own relationship. You can be bitter about your own career. I've seen this happen in relationships where if two people are very career focused, career driven, and if one person starts to struggle in their career or in their business, they start to get bitter about it. They start to get upset about it. And sometimes when they see their partner thriving and they're not thriving, instead of just saying, "You know what, maybe this is time for me to support you," or maybe I can even talk to you and get some tips from you. Maybe it's time for me to pivot and redirect. I'll take a little break, step back. Instead of that, you look over to your partner. Instead of being there and helping them celebrate their wins, that bitterness turns into envy, turns into jealousy. And you have to be careful when you let those emotions fester. I'm not telling you not to have them. I'm simply telling you to be able to acknowledge them and to accept them and to express them. So if you are with your partner and you have a situation like this come up, First, I need you to identify it with yourself, whether that's through journaling, just speaking out loud, however you need to get it out. I need for you to understand this is where you are. And then I need you to be able to express it to your partner or whomever it may be in a healthy way. You can just say, you know what, babe, I'm really struggling right now because I've been putting a lot into this project. I've been putting a lot into this business, and I really thought that things would turn out differently. And now that I'm in this space, I feel like I'm struggling with supporting you with where you're at. And I love that you're thriving, and I want to be there to support you. I just need some space to process what's going on with me because I don't want to put that energy off on you. And you can cut that up, flip it, do it, say it however. You don't have to say that verbatim. That's just an example of how you can express yourself in a healthy manner. So it's not that you shouldn't have the feelings at all, because sometimes we just can't help it. You're human. You're going to feel disappointment. You're going to sometimes feel like you're being left behind. It's okay, because the piece that you're missing is the moment that you express that to them. Not only are you getting it off of you, you open the door for them to actually be able to support you too. Don't hold yourself back because you're afraid to express how you're feeling and you don't want to express it, so therefore you don't want to acknowledge it. We're all human. We all go through these things. And here's the part I really want us to start being honest about, because all of those feelings, bitterness, envy, jealousy, they don't just live in your head. They change how you start treating people. They change how you respond. They change how you show up, and they change how safe people start to feel around you. And whether you want to admit it or not, they cost you opportunities, they cost you connections, they cost you your peace, and most of all, they'll cost you you. So what do you do with that? You stop checking everybody else and start checking yourself. Start checking in on yourself. Because I don't care what you say, you cannot bring bitterness into a new season and expect for it to feel fresh. And you can't keep comparing your life to other people's lives and expecting yourself to feel confident about your own. And you can't become the woman that you want to be if you're too afraid to acknowledge who you are today. And if this conversation has felt a little bit uncomfortable, that's okay. We're having weekly conversations where women can talk through this stuff in real time together. There's no fixing, there's no pressure, just honest conversation amongst women. So if you are interested in joining our calls, go ahead and make sure you click the link down in the show notes so that you can sign up and be a part of the very first call. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode as much as I have. If this hit home for you, make sure you share it with a friend and leave a comment down below. What is your one takeaway from this episode? Until next time, continue to be honest and continue to be you.